Charlie Kirk and I were not friends at all. In fact, the last week of his life, we were beefing hard, beefing online, beefing on air. But the day before he died, he did something that shocked me.
If there was any doubt, if there was any speculation or question mark about Charlie Kirk's legacy, his integrity, his devotion to the truth, and the utter travesty and injustice of his brutal, brutal ending, this is the video that is going to dispel everything. You guys know who that is. That's Van Jones from CNN. I'm going to share with you what he revealed that is absolutely going viral, breaking the internet, shaking the entire world, and rightly so. But I want to give a little bit of context too. And so before I share this profound thing that shook him and shocked him that Charlie Kirk shared with him, I just want to share a couple of things first. So I'm going to explain what he meant by the beef that they were having. It has to do with Irina Zarutska, who was brutally stabbed on that train in North Carolina by William DeCarlos Brown, who was multiple offender, felon. He'd been in jail, arrested, let go something like 14, 15 times because, of course, it's a blue run city. And Charlie Kirk posted on X or some social media, I don't know. He said something like, can you imagine if William DeCarlos Brown, if the shoe was on the other foot, and it was a white man who came up to a black woman just sitting on her phone, innocent bystander on the train, and was brutally stabbed like that, what do you think would happen? And you and I both know what would happen because the apparatus, propagandist media, which is an arm of the left wing, the DNC, would have made this national headlines. It would have been blasted, talked about. There would have been riots. There would have been looting. So Charlie Kirk mentioned that because we've seen it before. We saw this with BLM. We saw this with, there's empirical evidence to back this up with. And then this is what Van Jones said. Check this out. Okay, I want to caveat this with, there's a two-shot here, okay? There's nothing gory, nothing graphic, but what you're going to see is, first you're going to see Van Jones, this is days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Van Jones defame and decry Charlie Kirk, calling this a race-based attack. And then you're going to see the video alter, and you're going to hear William DeCarlos Brown, the perpetrator, actually say, I got that white girl. Check it out.
We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering.
So Van Jones made that statement. We don't know why that man did what he did. After this was abundantly clear that William DeCarlos Brown kept repeating over and over again, I got that white girl. Plus, and I'm not trying to make this about race either, but I think what Charlie is trying to talk about, he doesn't make this about race, and I'm going to prove it with a video that my wife sent me that everybody needs to see and share. There were multiple, as a matter of fact, most of the bus were African-American or black, and he chose, especially around that area, he chose to attack innocent Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska. Again, not making this about race. This is really about how the media wants to invent a narrative against, literally, I think, I've been saying this for a long time. I think there's been a war against white people, that if you are white in this country, especially during the height of the woke era, you were public enemy number one. There was no doubt about that. And so he was pointing that out. And then Van Jones clearly removes the truth, clearly suppresses what everybody already heard, what everybody already knew, by saying that we have no idea why this guy did this. And for Charlie Kirk to do this was fear-mongering, hate-mongering, which couldn't be anything further from the truth. And this is the same kind of narrative that has absolutely spurned all of these ridiculous, disgusting, repulsive people celebrating what happened to Charlie Kirk. I mean, celebrating. It's complete bonkers and nuts. And not only that, we all thought it was going to end, right? We all thought maybe they're going to, I didn't think this, but I think a lot of people did, maybe they're going to lower the temperature. AOC, what does she do? Not only do they vote against a simple measure to honor Charlie Kirk, but she actually has the audacity to go on the House floor in the video that I shared yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go watch it after this, where she defames and she lambasts Charlie Kirk for being hateful, ignorant, a bigot. It's absurd. And then this vile piece of garbage goes on CNN and says this: the woman who married her brother, who committed immigration fraud, actually has the temerity and balls to say this. Watch.
I just think it was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was a husband and a father, and in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views, or it happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of
what
death.
I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life, because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
Just absolutely vile and disgusting. On Charlie Kirk Memorial Weekend, when we're honoring this man who engaged in a time-honored tradition of healthy debate, you have the audacity to say he belongs in the dustbin of history and he was full of bigotry and hate. And what you see right now on your screen, I think, is even worse than what that vile piece of garbage just said. This is Governor Newsom's press office, the official X account that taxpayers are paying for. This is what our hard-earned money is going towards. On the weekend of Charlie Kirk's memorial service, it's Saturday as of this recording. By the way, we're going live to celebrate. We're going to go live and cover the entire event. So make sure you subscribe and follow and you don't miss out. I'll tell you more about that later. But look at what this vile piece of excrement. Kristi Noem is going to have a bad day today. You're welcome, America. Kristi Noem, who is the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. What in the world? This is a violent threat from an actual government entity, and not a foreign government, not an adversary, not an enemy, but from an actual entity within the United States, the second largest state in our union. Or I don't know, is it Alaska, Texas, maybe third? I don't know. Who cares? This is atrocious. This is literally verbatim the same exact rhetoric, the same exact crap that was going on through Reddit. Shame on you. I spit on you, Newsom. I spit on you, never Newsom. This is the same exact vernacular that was used by Redditors and Discorders and dark web internet trolls in that transgender community that were threatening and celebrating and highlighting and aware of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Shame on you, Newsom. But I know what you're feeling right now. There's good news. You're going to feel a lot better right now, okay? I'm going to share with you some great things that are going to uplift us all. I know, watching that vile, listening to that vile garbage, it makes my blood boil too. I get it, but stick around. Now I'm going to play for you what Van Jones, literally Charlie Kirk's fiercest critic, maybe even mortal enemy, dare I say. I'm going to share with you what Van Jones just shared with the entire world that I think speaks volumes about Charlie Kirk. Watch.
In the midst of all of this, Kirk reached out to Van in a direct message on X. Hey Van, I mean it. I'd love to have you on my show to have a respectful conversation about crime and race. I would be a gentleman, as I know you would be as well. We can disagree about the issues agreeably. Now, that message was sent on September 9th. Van says he did not see it until the very next day after Kirk was murdered.
Van Jones just wrote a piece about this for CNN.com and is here tonight. I mean, this is extraordinary. So this was received the day before he was killed.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we were beefing. I don't know. We were going at it online, on air, and then after he died, after he was murdered, my team called and said, Van, he was trying to reach you, man. What? And what was he doing? Dialogue. Let's be gentlemen together. He says, let's disagree agreeably. So I'm sitting on this and I'm watching the whole country talk about civil war, censorship, justifying murder about this guy. This guy is reaching out to his mortal enemy saying we need to be gentlemen, sit down together and disagree agreeably. And the next day he's killed. And I've sat on it long enough and I just said, you know what? We're going to Memorial Weekend for this man. We disagree. Everybody knows we were not friends, okay? At all. But you praise the good when it's time to memorialize somebody. And what he did, and I didn't even know it, was good. He was not for censorship. He was not for civil war. He was not for violence. He was for dialogue, open debate and dialogue, even with me. Even with me.
It's a very different sounding message than mentally Ilhan Omar and communist socialist AOC issued about Charlie Kirk. So I commend Van Jones, even though I'm not a fan of him. He posted this on X. I can't wait to get your comments on this. The day before he was horrifically murdered, Charlie Kirk sent me a direct message on X. Unfortunately, before I could even respond, Charlie Kirk was killed, seemingly assassinated for the words he'd spoken. I've taken issue with many of those words, sometimes strongly, but never his right to speak them, never his right to express those views and then go home to his family. This is a sacred American value. Kirk's murder gives us all reason to come back to the table for dialogue. There's a rising tide of political violence that has already swept away his life and many others' lives from both the left and the right. Violence like this should compel people in both parties to turn down the heat, seek common ground, and look for off-ramps from the vitriol, as Kirk was doing with me the day before he died. We can choose to go the way of more violence, more outrage, and more censorship if we want to. But if we choose censorship and civil war, we cannot blame that choice on Charlie Kirk. From his last 24 hours, I have proof he wanted to go in a very different way. Why don't you tell mentally Ilhan Omar and AOC and Chuck Schumer and Eric Swallowswell and Hakeem Nobody's Dream, why don't you say it to them directly, Van? This is the kind of common sense moderate Democrat that I grew up with, the 90s Democrat. The 90s, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'll say it again. The 90s Democrat would be considered an outcast, would be stoned to death by this radical liberal party in 2025. We need more of this, and they haven't stopped. They've upped the temperature. Rashida Tlaib yelling at Byron Donalds about, fascism is an okay thing to say. Fascism is an okay thing to say after everything we've been through, after the worst political assassination in this country. This is the Gen Z's JFK moment, the worst political assassination since JFK. And what did he do? He used words. He used words. A lot of people, their lives were lost because of words. One person who died on that cross used words as well. And look what they did to him. I'm begging the sanity, the soul, the urge for some of you hypocrite Democrats to finally wake up and heed these words. Let these words burn like hot coal in your soul. This is the truth, what Van Jones is saying. Again, I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of his network. There's a lot of problems out there with a lot of people from the left, but I appreciate the fact that he shared this message, and it speaks volumes about Charlie Kirk. I also want to share this. This post on X has been going viral from Elon Musk. He says, "I know you are resting in peace, Charlie. Still can't believe this happened. Your memory lives strong." And I love this message, Elon. Thank you so much. And it resonates with me because not only will his memory live strong, but I'm literally taking it upon myself to make sure that Charlie's message, Charlie's heart, Charlie's vision all of his blood, sweat, and tears is not in vain. We're going to continue the work. Tap that thumbs up, share this with everybody you know. Now, the last video I want to share with you was sent to me by my wife because, again, you've got the squad at AOC. He was a bigot. He was a racist. Couldn't be further from the truth. And this video proves it all. Watch.
What does it mean to be an American? Is it an idea or a history, a shared history, or is it a skin color?
Well, I mean, you could go back to the original founding fathers, the Immigration Act of, I believe it was.
What does it mean to be an American? Is it a skin color or something else?
So there's the current idea of what it means according to, the Hart-Celler Immigration Act and, all this bullshit that you guys spew. But if you go back to the original founding fathers, they intended this to be a European nation for white men of good stock and character. Yeah.
So, can you show me, let me answer the question. Can you show me where in the United States Constitution it says that?
It wasn't in the Constitution.
It wasn't in the Constitution because they didn't believe it.
The founding...
You, sir, they did not put it in the United States Constitution. Let me answer another question. Let me ask you another question since you support. Allow him to have the mic. Let me ask you another question,
Founding
sir.
Fathers wrote many
what
other
does the
documents
phrase,
other than the United
sir,
States Constitution, and they made it explicitly clear.
What does the phrase "e pluribus unum" mean? What does the phrase "e pluribus unum" mean?
Why is that relevant?
Because it was on every founding document and presidential seal from our founding, which means out of many, one. You, sir, and your ideology is not conservative. It is right-wing, identitarian. It has no place in the conservative movement, my friend. Get out of line. Get out of line. USA, 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 USA. USA.
Doesn't sound like a racist, a bigot, or somebody who is full of hate to me. Could it possibly be that the most incompetent, unqualified, talentless hacks who are in the, most of them in the left-wing party of our government, is it possible that you guys could be wrong about him? Is it possible that you're using a prism, a mask, to look at Charlie that is completely biased and inherent in your ideologies and your way of looking at most people like him who raise thought, who raise debate, raise critical thinking, who actually unveil the mask, who actually lift the oh dear of hypocrisy that you guys constantly are guilty of committing every single day in office? Is it just possible? I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. This is the video you got to share. Tap that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps us out immeasurably. We're going live. If you're watching this as of this recording, if you're watching this right now today, we're going live on the 20th. We're going live tomorrow, the 21st, to cover the entire memorial service for Charlie Kirk. You better believe it. I hope you guys will join us. The link is on our channel. Go check it out. Don't forget to check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. And as always, may God bless you. May God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.